So if you guys haven't heard, there is a title update 9.1 patch coming out Tuesday. Now, there was a lot of things that were addressed. They talked about some of the nerfs coming to NPCs, their aggressions level being tuned down a little bit, players being buffed a little bit. Fire and bleed will do less damage to players in both PvE and PvP. So it did address PvP a little bit, but mainly focused on PvE and a lot of the bugs fixes that they're going to be addressing. So I was surprised to actually hear that they were working on all these changes since we just had title update 9. So title update 9.1 will be Tuesday. But let's see what they had to say about everything. But before we do, I do want to say thank you to the 58 members we have on YouTube. Yes, we do have memberships on there. So if you guys want to support the channel, a great way to support it is clicking the link down below, joining the membership, and that's how you guys can support the channel for anybody who has been asking. But thank you guys, all 58 members that we have on there. But I do appreciate everybody who is subscribed to this channel. Let's dive into the state of the game.
All right, Mackenzie, the top level stuff. What's if you were to summarize what you've been working on recently that's coming next week, how would you sell it to me?
So I'd say that it's ironing out the outliers in the game currently with NPCs. So to be very clear, this isn't a global balance change for NPCs. We are discussing that right now. We're looking at doing that for TU10.
Okay.
So what we're doing for 9.1 is fixing the skills, weapons, abilities that really stand out as a difficulty spike compared to everything else.
Okay. All right. No, that's nice and clear. What are the key ones for you that are the outliers then?
Yes. So the hyena assaults, the SMG that the red bar uses. I've seen all the amusing Reddit posts and everything. It's definitely doing more damage than it should be. So we're nerfing the damage of it, and we're reducing the out of cover accuracy for it.
Okay.
Another thing is status effects from NPCs. We're reducing the damage that burn does and also bleed. Something to note with these status effect changes is that it's also going to affect PvP. And there are more PvP changes coming in TU10 as well.
Good to know. All right, chat seems happy about that one.
Yes.
Glad you dropped that. That's awesome.
Grenade accuracy, that also is getting nerfed for NPCs. So we're reducing the accuracy of the grenades the further away they are from their target. Something to know with that, elites do have better accuracy, and hunters, rogues, and legendary have better accuracy than elites, but you should still notice a difference with that. And we've also gone ahead and reduced the accuracy of the hyena throwers airbursts, the black tusk mini tanks grenade, and the cleaner turrets napalm airburst. Something to note with the grenade accuracy stuff is that the different throwers from different factions have different optimal ranges. So like the cultist thrower, their optimal range with their Molotov is 20 meters. So if they're further away, you're going to notice that inaccuracy sooner. Whereas the hyena thrower with their airburst grenade, their optimal range is 30 meters. So they're going to have to be further away to be less accurate. But it should still be noticeable.
Okay, very good. Someone was just... Sorry, Chris, you go.
Yeah, so not only are you working on the accuracy so that they hit you less often, but also like the fire, as you said, just does less damage. That means overall you'll see a bigger increase than just like, they don't hit you as often, but they also don't hit you, like if they hit you, the impact is not as high, right?
Correct, yeah. So it should come together to feel quite nice. Okay. Another thing that we've seen posted, NPC blind fire accuracy. We are reducing how accurate NPCs are when they blind fire. Legendary were super accurate before with their blind fire. They are now less accurate. They're not as inaccurate as normal grunts. Instead, they start inaccurate, and then the longer they've been blind firing, the more accurate they get. They still don't get super accurate, but that's just something to keep in mind, that if you were to do a 20-second blind on a legendary, after 5 or 6 seconds, they will start to get semi-accurate again. There's diminishing returns with that.
Okay, cool. Please dump all of this on us.
Okay. NPC aggressiveness. So we're looking into this. one thing to note is there's not an easy global fix that we can do here. I've seen posted before people thinking that with TU8 and Warlords of New York that we intentionally made NPCs more aggressive, which we did not do. We didn't intentionally make NPCs more aggressive. It's just a combination of changes that were for other things, sometimes leading to it, and then also just the increased difficulty of the game since TU7. Like with the change that we made in TU8 to make the game actually hard, it exposed a lot of underlying things that we weren't seeing before.
Okay.
And so the changes that I'm gonna list here about NPC aggressiveness are very like specific fixes, and we're looking into more. We're looking at videos, we're playing at home, and it's gonna take some time.
Okay.
But we're doing our best.
All right. Great.
So we've reduced the frequency and aggressiveness of NPCs' behavior to advance on hidden targets. So that means if you were hidden for like 8 seconds or something before, certain factions which were considered aggressive, like the hyenas, they could start to advance on you because they couldn't see you. So now we've made it so that they have to have not seen you for a longer amount of time, and we've adjusted how they advance on you, so that it should feel less aggressive.
Okay. So they have like a lower passive perception.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Sorry, I've been itching to play D&D. Please keep going.
Yes. Another fix with the Hyena Assault, Cleaner Assault, and Outcast Assault. If you got really close to them, so within 5 meters, they would start their too close behavior. And they had a custom one which would have them circle around the player. But it could get stuck in a loop, and they would just aggressively circle you, basically until you ran away from them. So we fixed that now, so it times out after 6 seconds or so. So that should be pretty noticeable as well, that if you get too close to them, they will actually start to back away. Another fix for NPC aggressiveness, the non-tank NPCs, so people who aren't a heavy, when they were affected by status effects like burn or blinds, they could aggressively path towards you, so they'll no longer do that. If they're on fire, instead, they will try to maintain their existing distance from you or back away. So that should help as well with that. Looking on some buffs for players, we've buffed player skill survivability. So we've reduced how much damage player skills take from NPCs. We've also buffed some player status effects. So we've increased the damage that bleed does to NPCs, poison, and the napalm ensnare from the cleaner's turret. So all of those will do more damage to NPCs now.
On that, just because I know that people will be asking questions, that is specifically for NPCs, right? Like in PvP, that will not do anything. We're not increasing any damage in that area.
Yes, this is only for NPC. As mentioned before, we actually reduced the bleed and burn damage in PvP and against players in PvE. Another nerf, which I've seen, I think a post today about on Reddit, the cleaners tank their flamethrower. The range was crazy long, so that's been reduced as well. With the Hyena's RC car, we've seen that's killing people much more frequently than it should. So we've gone ahead and reduced the damage of the RC car explosion. We've reduced how long the lingering fire stays on the ground from the elite RC car. And we've also reduced how often they deployed. And one last one, we reduced how long the burn and confuse status effects applied by the elite RC car explosion, how long those last. So hopefully it feels a lot better to fight against the RC cars now. Similar kind of NPC skill balancing the Black Tusk suicide drones. We've reduced the damage of their explosion, and we've reduced how often they can be deployed. The Black Tusk support station, we've continuing to make changes to that. The support station will no longer heal mechanical NPCs. So it won't heal big dogs, mini tanks, etc. It also will no longer heal destructible props. So those objects in the game that you have to destroy, like doors and stuff, it was healing those, which was totally not intended. And we've updated the legendary version of the support station to have these the checks for the LOS and the healing caps and stuff that we added into 9 because I did miss those.
Damn, dude, you've been busy.
Yes, I have.
Woo.
And we got a few more things.
Cool.
We buffed in-cover blind fire for players. And so what that means is we've reduced the size of the player's hitbox against NPCs when they are in cover and blind firing. And so what that means is it should feel less risky for players to blind fire at NPCs from cover. So we've not only nerfed NPC blind fire, but we've buffed your own. So that should be good.
And again, I'm just like pointing out these things. As you say, like the hitbox adjustment, that's again only in PvE. So if you're playing PvP, there will be no adjustment, will be the same. If players blind fire at you, you'll have the same chance to hit them as you had before 9.1.
Correct. Another fix that we did, armor kits that NPCs use will no longer completely heal them. We had done this fix on some bosses already in TU9, but we'd missed bounties and a few of the specific bosses. So that should make it feel a bit better when you're finding a bounty and they don't all of a sudden magically heal to 100%. Instead, they'll heal to like 80% and then 70 and 60 if they have more medkits, which they typically don't. To note there, hunters still heal completely, but that's because they're hunters. We've also adjusted status effects priorities for NPCs so that ensnare is more important than blind or burn. So what that basically means is that if an NPC is ensnared, they will not move now. Because we saw the videos of where if you ensnared an NPC, but if you blinded them first, they still ran around, which was not intended. Another fix, the NPCs could throw a firefly, which did an excessive amount of damage. I think we saw the video posted a couple of days ago, where like the boss threw out a firefly and it just one-shotted a player, which was definitely not intended. So that will no longer happen. And the last fix that we got for 9.1 NPC-wise is we lowered the likelihood of tank to rush your hives and turrets to stomp them. So it should make them not rush towards you aggressively for those. And that's all that I got.
So to summarize everything, we have the Delta and Foxtrot issues are still being worked on. Some backend changes have already been implemented and have resolved part of the problem, but they're still working on those Delta and Foxtrot issues that you guys have been seeing. TU9 will release on Tuesday. TU9 patch notes will release on Monday. NPCs are going to be seeing that grenade and accuracy damage nerf. So some NPCs from 20 meters out will be less accurate. Some from 30 meters out will be less accurate, just depending on the type of NPC they are. Remember, fire and bleed will do less damage to players in both PvE and PvP. NPC blind fire will be less accurate at the start of blind firing, but will be progressively more accurate the longer they shoot. When we shoot from cover, our hitbox is a lot smaller, but this only takes effect in PvE, right? Also, NPC aggressiveness is being tuned. It's less likely for NPCs to rush you when you are hidden from their view. Outcasts and hyena rushers could get stuck in a loop circling you. They are fixing that. They put them on a timer, so that will not happen anymore. Remember, player skills will take less damage from NPCs, and also those big heavies will less likely rush your skills when they are deployed. Player status effects will do more damage to NPCs. This does not affect PvP. Flamethrower range of those big heavy cleaners will be reduced, so they will no longer barbecue across the map. The Hyena RC card damage explosive is reduced, and the fire timer was reduced to deploy less frequently. That should be great. And then Black Tusk suicide drones, explosive reduced and spawns less often. Now, there were a little bit of other changes. They said they'll have the full patch notes on Monday, so I can't wait to see those. Let me know what you guys think about this change, title update 9.1. I think this is what a lot of people were actually looking for. I am going to wrap this video up here. Thank you guys again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the summary. Until the next one, NothingButSkillz is out.